Bree's mom, and today we're going to do vegan sushi rolls or vegetable sushi rolls, how I make them for Bree. The biggest time part of this is the prep, because I've been prepping for a little while here, for the vegetables to go in the sushi roll. What I want to show you is I have some sweet potato, this is a daikon. I used half of that. This is the daikon. I used some summer squash, and parsnips right here, and winter squash, and and of course red cabbage. So I'm going to show you basically how to matchstick, because that's what I did. And then I have some, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different vegetables there, and 2 different greens here. This is the filler. Bree's not going to have this because this is tempeh made from soy. But this is watercress, and this is collards. These are the collard greens, and this is watercress. So we have a nice variety of veggies here. First, what I'll show you is how I prep the greens, the collard greens. The same thing with kale, is it has a thick stem here that you're not going to want. So I'm just going to do a V-cut and cut that out. Okay, that's too hard for the sushi rolls. Then what you would do is you'd have a few of these, and you would literally, without the core, roll them up like a cigar, and then just slice right through them, thin slices, and then boil them for 2 minutes tops. Could be even a minute, and I will show you how I do that with a carrot. How I've done this prep with a carrot. Let me see. Here's a carrot. All right. So what I'm going to do is put these plates on the side so you can see. And the carrot is organic. Everything's organic. The carrot is cleaned. All the vegetables are cleaned with a vegetable brush. You can leave the skins on. And I'm going to slice it at an angle like this. Thin slice. There. And then I take these, stack a couple of them, and then I slice the matchsticks through like this again. Okay? Keep your fingers out of the way. Curl back your fingers. And then what I'll do, which I showed in my in Bree's veggie video, how to do a lot of these vegetables. So then I would take this, I would have a pot of water that's boiling, and this is like making a boiled salad, and I would put these in for 2 to 3 minutes with a timer. Then you don't have to worry about it. And then when it goes off, you'll see I'll bring them out, get them cooled off really quickly. So everything on this plate was matchsticked in one form or another. Okay, because we're going to be building a sushi roll, and they have to be, you want them lengthwise. When I've done that, I'm just thinking of all the prep here that I want to remember to tell you. So you need the vegetables. Then for the filling, these are the sushi that I've done. I've got the sheets. This is nori. Nori seaweed and or sea vegetable. Nori is high in calcium, and also out of all the sea vegetables, nori is the highest in protein. There is protein like in the sea vegetables, in grain, in vegetables, in beans, in nuts, in seeds. So, you know, you're getting plenty of protein. Actually, we get too much protein in this country. What I want to, and I will show you how to toast these sheets in prep. I just, this is almost done. So what I do is then I just take it out of the water, the carrot, and put it here so it cools off quickly, and then it's ready to go. And then this, and the other thing I wanted to tell you is when you're pre-boiling these for the sushi rolls, start with in the water, start with the light ones first. The daikon, the summer squash, the parsnips, then go to the colored ones, because if you start with the purple first, it will turn everything purple. All right, so I did all the light colored ones and the greens, and the purple cabbage was at the end. You can also use green cabbage, of course. Then you wouldn't be thinking about that. That water is great soup stock. Okay, so you know, just to not want to throw at anything, you now just add that to a soup stock, because it's got all kinds of good stuff in it. So we're good there. So that's the prep on the vegetables. Now I'm going to show you how to toast a nori sheet. Now I don't know if this is going to show up, but we're going to try it against the window here. This one is toasted. I don't know if you can see, and this one isn't. One is darker than the other. Okay? I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, we'll try. So what I'm going to do is now toast this, and you're going to find there's a shinier side and a bit of a rougher side. So I'm going to toast the rougher side. And in packages, small packages like this, it comes folded in 10 sheets like that. The inside fold is what you toast, okay? So I'm going to toast this quickly on the open flame. The other thing that I have ready, of course, that you have to have ready, is a good pot of cooked rice. Brown, short grain, organic rice. And that is actually cooling off, because it has to cool off enough, because you're going to be building this with your hands, so you can get your hands into the rice. And I look up and take a peek. That's how I see how I'm doing. And also be careful, because I have burnt these. They caught on fire. Hey, you know, I've been doing this 30 years. You know, I still, you know, it's a learning experience. And from what I understand, is the only way to learn things is by making mistakes. So, it's all okay. You know, I plunged in overnight because it was life and death for my daughter. Most people are able to just learn this much slower than I did. All right, I will put that back on. Hot pan. So, this is ready to go. And I'll put it on the stack. So we got the rice cooked, cooling off. We've parboiled all these vegetables ready to go. I have the tempeh, which you might never have seen, is a soy product. It's fermented. It can have the B12 in it. It looks like, hold on, let me open this package a bit more for you. It's spelled like that, tempeh, okay? Very, you know, you can go to markets in like Tibet or somewhere like that, and this will be out in big slices in the market. I have made this with one of my first teachers from scratch. It's quite an ordeal. But wow, beautiful, beautiful tempeh when it's made like that. These dark spots are totally, it's part of the fermentation. Totally okay. The only reason you wouldn't eat it if it had like bright red. Yeah, but this is perfect. This is what you want to see. This means it's good. Okay? And the tempeh, I then, to prepare it for the sushi rolls, I marinated it in a bit of Annie's mustard, horseradish mustard, and some tamari. Just in a glass rectangular bowl, and just left it there, and then I fried it up in some olive oil. So that's try to replace for the meat eaters in your family. Bree won't have it because of her allergies and soy. Okay, this now, so And also for the filling, Bree doesn't have this, but you know, when you're making this, you're making it for yourself, you're making it for your other children, you're making it for your husband. So I have a mixture to go inside, which is the same thing as half and half Annie's natural mustard and half tamari. Also something else that we're going to put in, and you'll see as I'm building it how this, we'll get really close filming on when I roll it up. This is called umeboshi paste. It's a red paste. It's very salty. It also comes in a plum, and it looks like this, umeboshi plum. I would never travel anywhere without some umeboshi plums, because if you eat something off, you want to have these around to suck on and slowly eat. Okay, if you're going to a country where you're questioning, you want to travel with I travel with kuzu, I travel with umeboshi plums, and I travel with a good tamari, for sure. Okay, a little tip about the umeboshi paste. When you're eating corn on the cob, and every person I've told this about goes, until they taste it, they go, what? When you're eating your corn on the cob, instead of putting butter on, just take some of this and spread it. Spread it up all on your corn just like you would butter. It is so good, okay? It is much, I know people that prefer this to putting butter on it, okay? And it's a lot healthier for you. So, and please eat non-corn. Most of the corn in this country right now is GMO corn. So I'm hoping that, you have a local farmer that you know the corn is non-GMO. You don't want genetically modified foods. That's Monsanto, the company Monsanto, who's doing that. They're not concerned about our health because there are people getting sicknesses now just from GMO foods. And they're the same people that created Agent Orange and Roundup. These are highly toxic chemicals. And so they're the ones fighting to own all our seeds, fortunately. All right, so the other thing that not necessarily do you put in a sushi, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to put in some seeds when I'm building it. Because remember, a grain, brown rice, any of the grains, and the three I've showed you are millet, quinoa, and brown rice. You add a seed to them, it's complete protein. You add a nut to them, it's complete protein. Or with a bean, they have all the amino acids the body needs to build. So today I've just rinsed some sesame seeds, and I've done this in another video, so I'm just going to do a quick review. I've rinsed these, and you can either get the brown or the golden ones. I usually get whichever one is on sale. And put it in, this is called dry roasting. There's no oil or anything in this pan. And you just put it in a hot pan. And then it's the water on the sesame seeds that's going to do this. And then I'm just going to explain it. What we do is as these start to dry out, they're going to start to pop, and you don't want it on. You're going to have to play with the heat. You can start out higher, but you're going to bring it down because they can burn easily. And then, especially with sesame seeds, when they're like this, there's no way you can crunch them between your fingers. But when they're done, you can put them between your fingers and just rub your fingers together, and they should crunch easily. And that means they're dry roasted and ready to go. So I just wanted to explain that to you again. And you can see it in one of the other videos. So we're going to turn that off. I'm going to build with some seeds. Right here, what I've got is some sesame seeds, and I've got pumpkin seeds that I've ground up, all dry. Both of these are dry roasted. Now I've got another tip for you. And this is what you call a high omega bottle of seeds. And what you would do, in this one, I have flaxseed, I have pumpkin seed, and I have the sesame seeds. You could also put sunflower seeds in it too. Now remember, flax seeds need to be ground up. So I grind them up and keep them in a bottle in the fridge. All your seeds need to be kept in the fridge to prevent them from growing rancid. And so this combination, your omega combination here, is 3 parts ground flaxseed, 1 part sesame seed, which you do not grind, I just dry roast them, and one part of the pumpkin seeds, which I grind. And you could do, if you want, you could add 1 part of sunflower. So it's 3 parts, and 3 parts means you have a spoon. So you put 3 spoons in, then 1 spoon of sesame seeds, 1 spoon of pumpkin seeds, and store this in the fridge. And this is ready to sprinkle on your foods. Okay. The other thing I'm also going to prepare, I've showed you the greens, is I'm going to put some avocado in too, because avocado is that healthy fat. And you might hear Bree comment on this in the background, which she is very well known to do. So there's your avocado cut through the middle. If there's something like that, I just cut it off. Okay? And then I just slice it down like this. And then for this, if I put it in a salad, I just dice it and then push it out into the salad. But for this, I will try and take it out like this, and then slice it long for putting in the sushi. I think, have I told you everything about nori? I think so right now. And then I will explain, I've got some pickles here which I'll explain as we start to build it. So we've got everything ready. Now it's a matter of building it with the rice and the sushi mats, and we'll do that next. Okay, now we're going to start assembling the sushi rolls, the vegetable sushi rolls. So what I have here is a sushi mat. And you can get those, well, Amazon for sure, but anywhere. This is the normal size, but I also have a really big one like this, which I use to cover my rice, when it's cooked. And I have a smaller size like this. You can make bigger ones. So we're going to start with this, and the shiny side is down. Shiny side is down. So now, the rice, you've got to be able to put your hands in the rice. The rice is cooled down. This is a rice paddle, which I mix the rice up with. And you need a bowl of water, because you don't want to get this wet. So I will show you slowly how to do this. So I'm going to wet my fingers, take some rice, and I'm going to start pressing the rice in. Once you get this, I am not like when you go to a sushi bar and you see these guys they're doing a great job. Now, you want to get right to the edges, and you'll understand why when I'm finished, okay? Right to the edges, and you can always even out that later. Nori, I think, did I say it has the same amount of vitamin A as carrots. It's high in calcium. I told you about the protein. It's also high in vitamin C and B1. And I'll press this down, wet my fingers, stay away from the nori, just put it on the rice. There. Now you're going to leave about 1 inch at the top and bottom. Now I want to make sure I get to the end on this side. And this is a great thing to do with friends. Have a sushi rolling get together. Get to do it with your family. Then you can enjoy it afterwards. So there's nori. Also, I wanted to talk about... Now, what you can do is just wet the top like an envelope, so that when you come over, it's going to stick in. I'll do the bottom, just a little bit. Now, normally what you would do is then you take your finger and you press right in the middle, like a little valley, okay? Because that's where your sauce is going to go, and you're going to build up there. So There. And now, if you're putting the sauce in, this is when you'd put it in. Take a spoon. We'll do one with the sauce afterwards. First, the girls. So then I look at this and I think of what colors I want to build up. So I slowly start and take some of this, the different vegetables. And remember, vegetables are very alkalining. The eat your vegetables is for a reason. You really need it. If you want a healthy body, you need to do things to alkaline your body. You need to eat foods and hopefully live in a manner that will alkaline things. So I just put some pieces, see? Got some daikon going here, there. And hey, some of the seeds. How about some pumpkin seeds? I'll just sprinkle along here. There, some pumpkin seeds. Make it nice. This is my daughter's supper, so I will blender it all up, and that's what I do. And I'm going to put a couple of pieces of avocado in this one. Some avocado. There. And a little bit of red cabbage. Get some red cabbage in here. There. You want to put enough, but not too much, because you got to be able to roll it up. And then I'm going to do some of the collards, you see, just like that. You just put it through like this, and a bit of the watercress. Nice. You could do kale, you could do bok choy, you could do... All right, so there we're going. Pretty even out on the side, looks pretty good. Now, it's the tension that you want now. So, hopefully we've got a good view of this. You bring this up, and you start, watch my fingers, you bring it up like this, and then what I do is I'm pushing down on the vegetables, and with my thumbs, I'm pulling up on the sushi mat. And then I'll get it where I'm pushing it down in. And now I'll roll it back, put my fingers here, and roll again. Okay? And then I'm bringing it back, and I'm rolling again. Clean up the bits, put them in, and then I take that off. It's nice and clean, ready to go. I'll push this in here, get a nice tight tension, okay? And you'll end up with a beautiful sushi roll. And there, any bits that are coming off, just let them come off. And then I keep bringing this back as I'm rolling. Bringing it back as I'm rolling. And there we go. Okay? And then what I do is I bring this part up and just roll it together. There. And then I'll go like this. There. Beautiful. And here we go. And I will tap these ends in. You will see. Or cut them off. You'll see. We'll cut these later. That's one ready to go. And now one more. And put it down. Wet my fingers. Bring up, go for the rice. There, and pat it down. There. You know, I try and emphasize so much the importance of food, and people still, I seem to be, many times, especially like where I live in the country, I seem to be the odd one out. What I want to say is how important food is, because your gut, your stomach, your intestines, all that, is considered a second brain. The same amount of neurotransmitters, I think it's 100 million, that line your gut are the same amount in your brain. Actually, actually, when a baby's being formed, the gut and the brain come from the same tissue, which is called the neural crest. And that divides in utero, that divides. And one part goes to the brain, the other part is your gut. And it's connected by the longest cranial nerve, which is called the vagus nerve. So if you don't think what you eat is important. They did a study on a detention center somewhere in Virginia, I think it was. What they did is they just took out sugar. They didn't tell the cooks. They just replaced it with someone. No one knew. The people eating didn't know. And the infractions went down just with replacing sugar, 50%. What you eat is so very important to your well-being, to your mood, to your energy levels. And we eat these are all considered superfoods. And I'm really focused on the nutrient level. I want my daughter and myself. I would, definitely be not doing this well 35, almost in 2 months, years later, if I weren't eating well. So then we have the rice, and it's trying to move on me here. Now I'm going to do one with a filling, just so you see. So it could be the omumbushi plum or the half and half mixture of tamari and Annie's natural mustard. So I put that right in there. And then I'll put a couple of pieces of the tempeh. Doesn't it look like meat? And there you go. And some of the collards. So I'm hoping that people will understand how my daughter would, first of all, not even be here if it wasn't for really good food. And definitely she would still, one of the pneumonia or the grand mal seizures would have taken her long before now. Yes, I'm still caring for her, but she's happy and healthy, and she creeps around on all fours, and she's a definite, she improves people's lives. She definitely improved my life. I wouldn't have done this if it hadn't have been for the motivation to keep her alive. I'm so grateful to her. She's brought all this quality stuff into my life. It's amazing. She doesn't speak or walk, but she definitely has made my life better, and the people that are willing to recognize that and do it too. She improves people's lives. Right now, indirectly, she's the reason these videos are being made. So, if anybody thinks that brain injured people aren't powerful, she's amazing, amazing. So there we are. We've got this one ready to go. So I'm going to do the same thing. Can I move it? Let's see. I can. Okay, good. And wet. Doop, doop, doop. A little bit, just like an envelope. There. Now, I'm pressing down here, holding everything in place, and starting to bring this up across. And I'm pressing with my thumbs at the same time. This is easy to do. You just practice it. You'll have it. And then I keep pressing that in and rolling back the mat. I think you're probably getting a good view of this. Now, if things start coming out, I just pick them out. If there's no room in there, that's fine. And I'll push that back. And there we go. One more. There. All right. And then I get it to there. I bring that back up and I roller it all together. And then I press it. See? Press it like this. There. Now, there we go. I'm going to show you one other thing before, and that's ready to slice. I'm going to show you one other thing before I just finish the rest of this. Take a break and finish the rest of the rolls. I want to show you how to make a rice ball. And it's the same thing with the nori, except I've cut the sheet into 4 pieces. And then what you do first is you take a bit of rice in your hand, and I have to get wet here. It'll stick too much. And I'm making a little rice ball like a snowball, like you'd pack a snowball. Oh, some people don't have snow. What could it be like? I love snow. Okay, so you can make it bigger, but this, when it's done, will last for 4 days without refrigeration. So if you're traveling, you know, this is what I'm thinking about. So, say you've made sesame rice, or you could pumpkin seed rice, you know, so you've got complete protein. Then what you do with this is you stick a hole in with your finger, and you take a little bit of the embushi plum. This is the preservative, okay? The natural preservative, the salt. And you stick that right in there, in the middle, and cover it up. Okay? So now I'm going to put the nori on to, and I have to wet my hands, but before I touch the nori, I have to dry my hands, okay? Or you're just going to be sticky nori all over the place. If you cut yourself, you have your, say your finger, yeah, I've done it a couple of places here, getting too young. I get too nervous making the videos. You have a piece of nori, you can just wrap the nori on it. It's full of minerals. It's just going to help heal that all up. So then I have the rice ball, and I have the quarter square. So I put it in like this, and I'm going to wrap the rice ball with the nori. And you want all the rice to be covered. That's your goal. Okay. And then I take another of the sheets, and I've got shiny side out, and at a different angle I put this down. Okay, and this was a smaller rice ball, so it's covering it pretty easily. Sometimes when I make them bigger, there'll be a part where the rice is showing, and I'll just take another little piece, like patching. Now this, the water, the moisture in there is going to start grabbing this together. So rice ball, and then I'll just keep doing this a couple of times, bring it back as it absorbs. And you put that in a paper bag, and that'll last for 4 days on the road. Make a whole bunch of rice balls, and there you go. Okay, so now we'll break. I'll finish making the rolls, the sushi veggie rolls, and come back and show you how to cut these. Okay. All right, so now I've done all the sushi rolls. As you can see, I've got some samples sitting here. And when I say about color, because when it's cut, you want to see the colors, it's so nice. And a little review with why this is great. It's almost like a complete meal in the sushi roll. You can make it that way. Because the sea vegetable on the outside, nori, full of vitamin C, high in vitamin C, calcium, vitamin A, like carrots. It also, nori breaks down the fat in our body. So if you've been a big dairy eater, like I used to be, I was a cheese eater, it'll break down those fats. No wonder I love nori. And then you've got your organic brown rice cooked. And then you have, if you add some seeds, that's complete protein, or a nut cooking with the rice is complete protein. Or if you do like I did, I put some marinated tempeh that I then fried in olive oil, thin slices down the middle. So the tempeh and the rice are complete protein. And then you could also do tofu in the middle, but I stay away from soy with Bree. And you can also use a product called seitan, but it's got wheat in it, so I don't use that for Bree either. But these are all meat replacements, and those could go in the middle. So then the vegetables, alkalining. All these foods are alkalining. That's what you want in your body. Remember, animal foods are acid forming. So, and in North America, we eat 200 pounds of animal food, meat of all kinds, a year. That's double what even the FDA recommends. And we wonder why we're getting sick. Please, hopefully you're not feeding your children deep fried meat, whatever, meat, and processed meats, and bacon. Hopefully, if you're choosing to feed animal food, that it's grass-fed buffalo or venison, and that it's wild fish, not farm-raised fish. Wild Alaskan salmon or wild cod. Anything else is eating stuff that they're not. The beef, if it's not grass-fed from beginning to end of its life, it's eating food that's not natural to its system. And the antibiotics and all those things that these animals are given go into your child. So, and speaking of antibiotics, we'll also talk about why your stomach, your gut is so important. But first, we're going to cut. So, the sushi rolls, the last time, were like this, ready to go. Then you have to wet the knife. Okay, so I have some water here. Wet the knife. And then you take the sushi roll, and the first cut is right in the middle, right through. And it makes a difference how it cuts if the knife is wet or dry, okay? And then you cut that one in the middle. And there we go. Okay? I'm going to do this and then wet it. And then you can just punch in the bottom like that, okay? The sides. And you cut it through. So there we go. There we go. Cut this one through. Oops. See? Now, that's great, actually. Because I didn't wet the knife between. So I'm actually glad that happened. Just to show you what can happen. All right? So, hey, the best ways are to see how you don't want it. All right, so. Oh, this one's coming too. Okay, so maybe it wasn't, also wasn't as tight, which could be another thing, that particular area wasn't as tight. You know, when I did the sushi and I did the rice out to the ends, it's so you have a roll that's pretty even. You would hate it to be like really thin on the ends. So when you are building it on the inside, you're trying to make it so that it's, an even roll like that. So so basically this is the cut sushi, and put these are snack foods. When this happens, I get to snack on it. So the other cut I want to show you. So that's basically, you tap the ends in, through the middle, then through the middle of each half, and then through the middle again. Okay? And now to get these little ones here, you go through the middle. All right? Tap it in. And then this one half, but you got to be careful. You need to, don't cut it totally through like this, or there's no nori to hold it together. So you've got to leave some of this on each end. So if I'm cutting it through, I'm going to cut it like this. And what I mean by that is, you see I left some here, and I left some here to hold it together. So when you're cutting it, don't do it from end to end, or there'll be nothing to hold it. All right? So there we go. We've got the little skyscrapers. So that's how you cut the nori. Just wet the knife, and if you get pieces like this, it's still very edible, but it's not as aesthetically nice as this, of course. And this is great for kids' lunches. I mean, even if you cut it in half like this and, put this in saran wrap, the child can go to school and just eat it like this. It's great. And it's a complete, it has your sea vegetable, it has your grain, it has your seed, your nut, or your tempeh, has your vegetables. I mean, this is a good meal for your child. And there's no additives, no preservatives, nothing like that. Another fun one for your older kids. This is not something, this I give to Bree. The other stuff I wouldn't, because she doesn't have nut butters, and she does eat sauerkraut though. It's not another one of these that sounds a little bit strange, but the filling can be a nut butter, like an almond butter or cashew butter, They make sunflower butter and pumpkin seed butter, walnut butter. They're all out there now. You put that in the middle with sauerkraut. And this is a really good raw sauerkraut. It's from Real Pickles in Massachusetts. This is a red cabbage, and this is, of course, the green cabbage. And so sauerkraut and nut butter. The sauerkraut cuts the fat in the nut butter. So kids love that one. Macrobiotic kids love it anyway. Another thing I like to do is when I can get some watercress, not even with the rice, I toast the nori sheet like that, and then I fill it with the blanched watercress and pumpkin seeds. I really like that one. Okay, just on my plate as a small snack on the side. So I think we're good with that. We're going to go sit with Bree. And, hey Bree? Because she's been really good wading through all this, haven't you, honey? And I want to show you something. As soon as I sat down, and our dog Mikey, come here Mike, come here baby. This is our boy Mike. As soon as he saw me sit down with some nori in my hands, look at him. Look at him, he wants this nori. You want it? Oh, he loves nori, okay? And usually little kids will just eat it like this. Mikey always has a half a sheet of nori, and I don't pre-toast it for him in his supper every night. And if you want to know what is in my dog's meal, you can email me at wggaspast@tds.net. And I'll tell you, because Mikey is 11 and a half, and when he's out walking, he still walks with a spring to his walk. And it's rare that you see an almost 12-year-old dog who still walks with that bounce to his step like he's a puppy. You finished that off nicely, didn't you? So little Missy. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention, another thing about why what we eat. Yes, why what we eat is so important. And our kids, for the immunity, for our children, if your child's getting sick a lot, their immune system is weak. And our gut, our stomach, produces 75% of our total body's immune cells. So, you really need to put some good stuff in here if you want to build a strong, healthy child. And the other thing with that is a lot of times that kids are on antibiotics. So, you gotta create good, healthy gut with food so that they can fight these things. And also get back what the antibiotics strip them of, the probiotics and the good bacteria that you need in your gut. So, Missy, what do you think? Did Mama do okay with the sushi that you're going to have for supper tonight? Did I? You want to give me 5 on that one? Or maybe not? Let's see, Missy. Oh, yeah, we're going to get 5. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We usually do 8. Ha. So there, Mom. I think I have covered everything of how important food is. The sushi is just a great, fun thing you can do with your kids. And there we go. Thank you.